Yo, what is up guys? It's the Goblin and welcome back to another Fortnite Battle Royale video. In this video, we're going to be talking about the best settings in Fortnite as of right now, the start of Season 7, which just started a couple of days ago, because probably the most asked question to any streamer, YouTuber, content creator is their settings. People always want to know, what settings are the best, what is everyone using, and while, copying Tfue or Ninja settings won't make you play like them, having the wrong settings can really have a negative effect on gameplay, and having the right settings can really set you on the right track and win you some engagements in some games where simply changing that setting and being more aware will help you guys get those wins. So I'm going to go through, it's been a while, over the past month or two, I've been talking a lot about building sensitivity and why I think that's so important for, especially for console players, but for everyone. And lately, in this video, since this is the start of Season 7, it's been like months since I've gone through all of the settings, and a lot of them have been updated, so that's what I'm going to do. So whenever people ask me, what are my settings and stuff, I'm going to refer them to this video. So if you guys will enjoy this thing, if you guys can smack a like, I would really appreciate it. Thank you guys. We have so many new people visiting the channel because of all the support on my How to Rank Up Fast video. That video got like 18,000 likes, 600,000 views in a couple days, so ridiculous support on that, so I really do appreciate it. Also, if you guys could, you keep the like train going, smack some likes on this thing, keep subscribing if you guys are new to the channel, not already subscribed, I would appreciate that. And let's go through all of my settings. Now, because I'm going to give my opinions on these settings, but just because I use something or I think something is the best does not mean that it's not, that it's going to be the best for you. So if you play on Combat Pro and you drop 30 kills a game, you should probably stick to Combat Pro, right? But these are settings that I think really work. I'm going to go through and I'm going to explain each of them, right? So first thing is Matchmaking Region. When you go to the settings, Matchmaking Region is pretty self-explanatory. You want to go on auto, or the one closest to your area where you're going to get the lowest number or the lowest ping. Now, when you're joining someone else's game, whoever is the host of the party, whatever they are set to is where you're going to search. So you need to watch out. A lot of times, say you're playing in a squad of 4, one person's from East Coast, 3 are from the West Coast of North America, for this example, right? If that person that's the host is from the East Coast, the other 3 people are going to be suffering on the West Coast people are going to be suffering on the East Coast host. So make sure the majority of your party, that's usually the most fair way to do it. If it's 2 and 2, it doesn't really matter, but make sure the majority of your party, and sometimes, if you get the best players to have the best connection, can help you win some more squad games, but usually that one you just want to go with auto. Next is I want to talk about the actual controller settings. Builder Pro, 100%, it's the way to go. It's been the way to go. If you wonder why everyone got good at building all of a sudden a couple months ago, it was Builder Pro. Personally, the only 2 ways that I think you can, like I said, if you use Combat Pro and you drop 30 kills a game, you're probably good. You don't need to be watching this video or worrying about your settings, right? But Builder Pro, either just straight up Builder Pro or Builder Pro with some custom binds, or a custom bind, like complete custom set, is probably like the only ways to go and compete nowadays in the meta for, your standard player that plays on normal controls. Builder Pro is the way to go. Personally, I use normal Builder Pro with no iterations, no custom binds, but that is also because I use a scuff controller, which what a scuff controller does is it allows me to have paddles on the back. It's what like a lot of pro console players use, probably the majority, if not almost all. It allows you to jump and keep your aim in while jumping, and also to pull out your builds and just have that easy access. So it's pretty nice. Scuff controllers I'm sponsored by. You can use code GOBLIN for a discount in the link down in the description. I also use one control freak on my right stick, and I'll talk more about gaming equipment probably at the end of the video because that's not what this is about, but I know people want to know about that stuff, so that's what I use. Builder Pro. I use a Scuff Infinity 4PS Pro for the PS4, right? So next is sensitivity. My sensitivity for X and Y has not changed in a long time, months. I run a 0.60 on both of them, which is essentially the same as a 6 out of 10 as it was before months ago. I haven't changed that up much at all because that's the sensitivity that's gonna really matter when you're coming down to those hip fire shots, just moving around and hitting those hip fire shotgun headshots and being comfortable. And usually with X and Y, I probably would say run, unless you're used to like a 9 or a 10, you probably want a lower sensitivity here because of the fact that before you would want it fast so you could build fast, but nowadays you can have a separate building sensitivity, which we'll talk about in a second. So I probably say, your X and Y, there's not too much harm in having them, somewhere you're comfortable in the middle or maybe even lower. Next, targeting sensitivity. sensitivity, I run a 0.43. I've run 0.43 for probably 4 or 5 months on targeting sensitivity. I don't know why. It seems like a lot of people run 0.43. I think it's just because when you slide it down, it just sort of gets stuck there, and it's convenient. It's nice. As far as my scope sensitivity, I run a 0.65. However, I'm not the best sniper. Usually when I use my sniper, I go just, going for drag scopes and stuff, the throwback Call of Duty quick scopes. So 0.65, I kind of like the sniper one high. I've adjusted a little bit. Personally, I don't really know about that one. I'm not an expert on sniping, so it depends. You want it high if you want to go for drag scopes or quick, shots like that, like a PC player would do. But if you're hard scoping in a base and trying to make that shot accurate, you probably want it a little bit lower. So it depends on what you want to do with the sniper. Next is the building sensitivity. Now, building sense builds off of what you have as your X and Y sensitivity, and of course you're multiplying and basically making it faster for this changes not when you have your guns out, only when you have your builds out in the blueprint to build. Basically, with the building sensitivity, I started off when this was first introduced at a 1.30, but you always want to be increasing this and increasing your potential to build without really getting that punishment on your aim or accuracy. So I started off 1.30, went up to 1.50, and as of right now, I'm at a 1.70 and still even looking to go higher and higher, because I think this is something that you can really take advantage of and improve your building just by speeding up this build sensitivity. And personally, that's how I was able to get my sensitivity up to around a 1.70 for right now, which is pretty high, and I might even keep going higher, as the more and more I can get used to it. So that's the very important core settings we spent the most amount of time on, but there's still a lot more to go through, and these are ones that are sort of on or off options. Having the wrong thing can really screw you up here though also. So inverted options, personal preference here. I have one buddy that literally plays on inverted. Personally, I just have inverted off. I think I have the inverted helicopter or the plane controls on, just because that's normally how you would drive planes like that or fly planes like that, right? I'm not an expert pilot by any means, but I think that's how it works. Next is the Hud Scale. Now, what the Hud Scale means is the heads-up display. So it's the mini-map, it's your guns popping up at the bottom. Personally, I've never messed with this, and a lot of people ask me why I don't make it smaller. The reason why is because I've never died and said, darn it, my heads-up display got in the way or something like that. If that was a problem for me, I would make it smaller. I see some people that run this so damn small they can't even read the number. So this is completely up to preference. As long as you can read the number of ammo you can have without squinting and straining your eyes, you should probably be good here. Personally, I don't see like much. I mean, you could drop it down a little bit. I just don't see a reason to, at least not right now, because it hasn't screwed me up yet. But who knows? Maybe in the future I'll be wishing and saying I wish I had a 0.5 on that. That's all personal preference. Next, sprint by default. I like to have sprint by default off, just because I like to be fluid in my fights, and sometimes you don't want to sprint. It's most of the time you do, 95% of the time, but sometimes you might want to go for something a little bit different. Personally, that's another one that comes down to personal preference. Sprint cancels reload. You want this off. You need to be able to sprint, reload, and sprint and jump into reloads, and that's stuff that you'll do when you win gunfights and you're running with the storm. A lot of times you have to outrun the storm while also reloading your guns for a possible gunfight. So sprint cancels reload. I definitely recommend having that off. Tap to search, you should have this on. There's pretty much no punishment. I had this off when I first started playing the game, then I realized there's no punishment to this. I mean, it's not like you can still just get off of interacting with stuff if you get in trouble, stuck in a revive or stuck looting a chest, and more often than not, you would mess up by letting go of the button, not by staying on too long. So I definitely have this one on, and I think it's nice for reacting or interacting, whatever they call it, with reviving. Toggle targeting, that's off. I like to hold it down, the triggers, to let me know when I'm targeting. Aim assist, or no, we missed one. Reset building choice, on. Reset building choice should pretty much be on if you're used to that. I don't know, maybe there's people that have been playing with this off, but what this does is every time you go into your builds, you're going to start back off with that wall. Now, this really doesn't matter, I guess, with Builder Pro, now that I'm thinking about it. This was more of a Combat Pro struggle when you have to cycle through all of them, and back then it sort of came down to preference, but now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know if this even matters if you play Builder Pro. So if you play Combat Pro, you probably want this on. I have it on, so I mean, I don't know, I just leave it on. Really, resetting building choice, it's what I'm used to, it's what I've been playing as, and I don't see any reason to mess with that, if it even does affect Builder Pro. Aim assist, always aim assist on for console. If you don't have this on, you're gonna get screwed over by other people that do. This is just something that, say what you want about it. PC players hate on the aim assist, of course, when it comes over to their console. Console players hate on PC players when they bring the keyboard and mouse building and custom keybinds, crazy stuff over to console. So it all depends. Aim assist is something that is part of console shooter games, and it's something that you want on to have an even playing field. Next is going to be the edit mode aim assist. Now this is when you want off. Now what this means is when you're in edit mode, it would sort of drag you and pull you towards the center of your walls and floors. Sometimes when editing, it would just mess you up, and you shouldn't really need aim assist to click tiles and edit. So make sure to turn that one off, just because that was one that will actually mess you up more than it will help you out for sure. And honestly, I don't even know why that's still an option in the game. It should be removed quite a while ago, because I don't really see how that helps you. It sort of just drags you to players when you're in the edit mode, which can really mess you up. Next thing is turbo building. You definitely want turbo building on. That's the way you can do crazy moves like, build constant walls, drop down, build faster 1 by 1, stuff like that. Turbo build on. Auto material change on. This will save your life. If you run out of mats, you don't have to manually change it. There's no reason to have this off. Definitely on. Controller auto run. I have this one off personally. I know for PC players it runs very smoothly. For me, I kept always getting stuck with a thumbstick, and it would get stuck in auto run mode, and I would just be like, am I auto running? How do I get out of this? I got frustrated. I just turned it off. I haven't touched it since then. Auto open doors, I have that one off. There is strategy, 90-80% of the time you're going to just want to auto open the door and make it easy, but there is strategy with shotguns and with fighting around doorways and peeking them, right hand advantage, especially in tilted towers. So I have that one off, as I'd rather not get screwed over by the CPU in the game opening the door for me, but me making my own decision there. Auto pickup weapons is also off. Auto pickup weapons is something that's great for early game if you like to challenge people on chests and stuff. I kind of stay away from that. It's just a KD killer and a win rate killer, challenging people on chests, unless you can get it for a fact, or the player looks like, maybe they're more beginner, they're up higher, so you can get the land and get the easy kill there. But I have that one off as well, because I don't like to get my inventory crowded early game, and that goes into next one, which is auto sort consumables to right, and I have this one on, which means that early game, it can suck when you pick up like bandages, shields, minis, whatever it is, and it sort of gets in the way of you switching between your shotgun and AR or SMG, because fights happen right off the start. Sometimes you don't have time to reorganize your inventory, but by putting this on, it helps you out a little bit, and you don't have to worry about picking up bandages early game, because it doesn't really make you have an inventory struggle, because it just moves it over towards the right side. Next, Builder Pro, build immediately. Definitely have that one on. You don't want any delay where shots can sneak through or anything like that, especially on with online playing with lag and ping. Next is controller edit time. With this one, I rock a 0.14. Personally, this one you definitely don't want to have it at full. I don't think you want to have it at the minimum either, because when you have it at the minimum, I mean, you could test out yourself in playgrounds. For me, it would always mess up, and it would get stuck between me tapping it to pull out builds and exchange build mode to combat mode, and then also holding it to edit, and it would really mess me up. I found that 0.14 was one of the lowest I could go without it messing me up too often. But personally, you don't want that. You definitely don't want this at full. You want it somewhere around that 0.12 to 0.16 area, but make sure you don't have it too low. And if that's a problem for you, it's because that is too low. Your edit mode hold time is too low, and raise it up a little bit. Also with this, if you want, another option is to go into the key bindings and custom bind something, another key to have instant edit. That is a little bit more complicated. Personally, I think that's something that you can do. However, if you do have a scuff controller and it's already on 0.14, it's pretty fast anyway. That's sort of what I go with, but either way works there. You can instant bind it to something else, or if you want to keep it on that B or circle button, you can have it like that. Vibration, I personally have vibration off. This is something that whenever I talk about this, I used to play with vibration all the time, maybe 5-6 years ago in Call of Duty, and all the professional players, everyone at the time, majority played with it off, and I always wondered why, because I like the feeling of when you have the vibration when you're shooting the gun, it's sort of, that you're doing some damage and that your gun is working, because you can feel it, and it makes the game, I guess you could say, a little more realistic or a little more fun or enjoyable. But that surprisingly can actually mess up your aim, vibration, and personally just having it off is definitely the way to go if you take the game seriously. It'll feel so weird for like the first week or two, but it's definitely worth it in the long run. Same thing as switching over to Builder Pro. And the last option is to record replays and stuff. I just have that on. I don't find that it makes you lag, or in one Call of Duty game, theater mode would make people lag or something by having it on. I've never really had that problem. I really haven't seen any evidence to point towards that in Fortnite. But I just leave that on. With audio settings, I usually just have normal audio settings. Personally, music is definitely something I would turn down or mute if you want to, because that can get kind of, if you like to sit at the menu, and if you have friends that take forever to join up, that music can be blasting, so you can adjust that. that. But that's all personal preference. Gameplay stuff is pretty much down to it. When it comes down to gaming equipment, now this is another thing that people ask me about pretty much all day, every day. You know, when I do live streams, I live stream over on Facebook, facebook.com/GreenGoblinHD, and that is because I'm a contracted partnered streamer with Facebook as of right now. So that's where I do my live streams. And, you know, a lot of people want to know what I use. So, yes, I use the SCUF 4PS Infinity Pro. Really, really nice controller. If you play on PS4 and you take the game seriously, SCUF Gaming is the way to go because those controllers will allow you to unleash your full potential, or, you know, any controller that will, you know, give you just the ability to do stuff in the game and to make it so much smoother while building. That's what I like SCUF for. Link will be down in the description to them. I am sponsored by them, and I have been for like years. Use code GOBLIN for a discount. Control Freaks are the extenders on the thumbsticks. These are for console players also. Personally, they come in like a pack of 2. I just use one on my right stick, and then the other one can be like a backup. You can use code GOBLIN for them as well. Gaming headsets, I've used the Astro A40s. I'm not currently sponsored by Astro. I've used Turtle Beaches in the past. For headsets, as long as you can hear footsteps good, you know, it's all about comfort and stuff with that. And then when it comes down to gaming monitors, I'm not sponsored by any gaming monitor brands either. I usually use Asus, but it doesn't really matter because with gaming monitors, really what it comes down to is the size of the monitor and the reaction time. If you're playing on a 60-inch flat screen, your eyes are going to have to be tracking way more of a screen, and you're putting yourself at an extreme disadvantage. Gaming monitors are the way to go because of the size of the screen, the reaction times, and you can pick up some nice ones usually. It's not even about the gaming monitor though, it's just about the size of the TV. Like if you have a 60-inch, you don't need to go to a gaming monitor instantly. You can get up a 20-inch TV or something. And what I did is when I first started YouTube, and I was playing like Modern Warfare 3, right? Or was it Black Ops 1 at the time going into Modern Warfare 3? And it was sort of like, at that time, it was like, I didn't even have an HD TV, right? So I couldn't record in HD. So I had to get an HD TV. So what I did is I went on Craigslist and I got an HD TV that was like, you know, a decent size. It was a little bit too big, but I got it for free and I was able to play on that, which had a lot better response time than the former TVs that I had. So you can get nice, smaller size TVs without a big budget. I personally got one for free on Craigslist because it's not all about the response time. It's about having a decent response time, but also just making sure you're not playing on those big screens, because those really, while they can be fun and super awesome for parties and stuff, if you're on that solo grind, monitors are pretty cool. But I don't think, in order of importance as far as equipment goes, I would say the most important thing is to make sure you have sound in some format. You know, iPhone headphones or whatever will work. The most important piece of actual equipment, I would say, would be like a SCUF controller. They are a little bit expensive, but if you take it seriously, it's worth it. And then other stuff like that, you know, headset, monitor, as long as you have decent working stuff, I think you should be pretty much good to go with that. And then of course you can upgrade as you go along. New stuff always comes out. I'm not someone that equipment doesn't make the player, but once you have the you want to be on the same playing field as everyone else, right? So if everyone else has aim assist, you want to have aim assist. If every other professional console player has a SCUF controller like they do at these LAN events, you're going to want to have one too, right? So that's just how it works. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. If you guys could drop a like on this thing, that would be really, really awesome. Subscribe if you guys are new. If you guys made it to the end of this video, oh my goodness, this video was absolutely much longer. I'm just looking at the time now. I just sort of went for it and started talking about the settings. So this is everything you need to know about the Season 7 settings. Wow. Have a great night, guys, or day, or whatever, and I'm out. Peace. More videos to come. Have a great one. Thanks for all the support. Peace out.